Hello everyone. Right, the next two videos I'm going to record are sort of connected. I'm not putting them together because that would end up as a pretty long video, which my computer doesn't let me do, so I'm trying to limit the amount of long videos I do. So, this is a forensic look of the harassment allegations that are happening all over the world at the minute. More so, I think the main places where they're happening is here in the UK and over in the US, especially Hollywood and politics. What I will say is, in this country, after it came out about the whole Jimmy Savile thing, another children's presenter by the name of Rolf Harris came out that he was being abusive to children. He was tried and convicted. He's now in prison. So, now I have 6 points. Now I'm going to explain my background here because it does come into play. I have a degree in forensic science and criminology, and one of the things we were taught is case analysis, where basically you look at a case and you literally pick at every single bit of information, and things that don't make sense for a reason. And obviously we test things out to see if they could actually happen, and if they couldn't happen, then it would make it obvious that sometimes the cases didn't quite add up. So, one issue and one point is the statute of limitation. Now, here in the UK, rape and a lot of other sexual based crimes don't have a statute of limitations. I don't know why, we just don't. Say for example, Joe Bloggs raped Jane Doe when, like, 15 years ago. They can still be arrested, convicted, and put in prison for that now. If it was 20 years ago, 50 years ago, you can still be put into prison for it now, because we have no statute of limitation. However, in America there is, which is a potential problem, because there are going to be some cases and stories. For example, the Gwyneth Paltrow one, I think, is out of statute of limitation because it happened when she was 22. And how old is she now? 45. So that's 23 years ago. And most statutes of limitations in America is either 5 or 7 years. So it's one of those things that it's more than likely out of statute of limitation. So as a result, he won't face charges for that one. However, there are probably quite a few recent cases that will be within statute of limitation, particularly with Harvey Weinstein and potentially Kevin Spacey. Now, to me, people say to me, oh well, in America, if you committed rape when you were 16 and you did it because you were drunk or whatever, then you should be held responsible for it 50 years later. And to me, it's a case of, yeah, you should, because at the end of the day, you probably raped someone, you don't remember it or whatever, but the person who was raped remembers it for the rest of their life, and they are essentially they suffer from trauma, whether it's PTSD or other forms of stress-related, like anxiety, depression. They will always have that in their head, and people being mistreated in such a way is so unbelievably horrible and so unbelievably sick that, to me, there shouldn't be a statute of limitation on anything to do with sex and sex crimes. It shouldn't be there. That's my opinion. There are people in this country saying that we should have a statute of limitations, and then there are obviously people like me that say no, we shouldn't, because of the lasting effects that such crimes have on the victims. Now, I'm not saying that every person who's been raped will suffer major effects from their rape, because not all of them do. Some people can handle it better than others. Some people can't. Some people have better coping mechanisms than others. And it also depends on how long the abuse was going on for. However, in this particular case, they were occasional events, but it still leaves a mark on people. And he wasn't, for Harvey Weinstein, it wasn't a thing of sexual gratification, it was a thing of power, which is the way it is with most sexual related crimes. Now, the number of accusers. There will be times where, well, this is going to get me some hair, but never mind. There are times where people accuse other people of raping them when it doesn't happen. And we've seen quite a few of those over the past probably 12 months. There was 2 instances that I remember Phil covering. There was the girl, she was arrested, and she claimed that during the girl claimed that during the arrest that the police officers did sexually inappropriate things. So the police department said, "Oh, you want to play that?" So they released the body cam footage, and nothing happened. So it was like, really? And then there was another incident where a girl walked into a church, she was dishevelled, and she walked into a church, well, she ran into a church and said that she'd been raped, and then a couple of days later she actually admitted that she wasn't. And incidents like this does affect people being believed later on. In instances when you're going to fame, if there's 1 or 2 accusations, then that's where I potentially question things, because if somebody's a sexual predator in any sense, there isn't just 1 or 2 victims. There will be multiple victims. Like with Harvey Weinstein, there's over 70 people. And whereas if you've only got 2 or 3, that's a question. I think Kevin Spacey might be at somewhere around 5 by now. But there's more coming out, and there's actual instances where people have said that they've seen him do things on set inappropriately to people, and those people aren't necessarily coming forward, but other people are saying, "I've seen this, I've seen that." So the number of accusers generally helps sway people. Now, I'm not saying that somebody who's a sexual predator could only abuse 2 people, because they can. But those... the cases have to be looked at in a very specific way. Which is what I'm trained in, where you go through what they say happened, and if it makes sense, then it happened. Which a lot of the accounts of what's happened with Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, and some of the others are actually detailed in a way where you believe them. And as somebody who has gone through cases before and picked the cases apart, it is important for things to make sense. So it does sort of make sense that we have to ensure that they are true cases. And I'm not saying that people who said that they've been abused haven't. What I'm saying is there will be some that, excuse me, that may jump on the whole thing for attention. There have been the 2 cases I mentioned before. One of them was because she was pissed that she was arrested, and the other one was because she wanted attention of her boyfriend because he wasn't giving her attention. Some people do some bloody strange things for attention, let me tell you. But the way it's standing, like I said, especially with Weinstein and Spacey, it is looking like the cases and incidents are true. Purely because of the amount of people that are saying, I saw this, I witnessed that, this is what happened to me, etc. And to me, those cases are more tangible than other cases. Like I said, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to believe somebody if they tell me that they were raped. I'm just one of those that it's probably down to my training, where it's just, like I say, it's just my training. That's all it is, it's my training. I have to have the full information and then I make my decision. But obviously if it was one of my friends I'd probably believe them, but I'm just saying, it's not always the case that something like this is true. These incidents were witnessed with both Weinstein and Spacey. There have been people that have said, I've witnessed this, I've witnessed that, I've witnessed this. And then you just think, you just feel like going, well, why the fuck didn't you do something? Particularly with Spacey. Why the fuck didn't somebody just turn around to him and say, look, stop being a dick, put your dick away, and stop touching other people's? For fuck's sake. And it's like, I was watching an interview on I forgot what it was, the other night. Well, it was on YouTube, and it was Dean Cain, who played Superman in Lois and Clark. And he's done lots of other things as well. He's in Supergirl at the minute, and he was saying that a lot of people didn't like Harvey Weinstein because of the way he behaved around women, and he didn't like him. He didn't trust him, that he'd met him on a few occasions, and he unsettled him. And it's come out that both Weinstein and Spacey were both bullies, which, because they get off on power, that's pretty much it, they get off on power. Obviously with Spacey, everybody, the fact that he's turned around and said, I'm really, really sorry if Rab remembers that, I don't remember it. If that happened, then it was probably because I was drunk. But it's caused me to assess things in life, and I'm gay. It's like, you can't come out as gay and half-arse apologise to somebody who you tried to sodomise against his will in the same video. Gay people are trying to get rid of the stereotype that a lot of people have, where gay people are rapists. No, they're not. Anybody who thinks that needs their head seen to. But the fact that Spacey said that makes my blood boil. Oh. I'm mad. A lot of people, and wrongly, equate gays with paedophiles. There's no such correlation. Paedophiles get off on the power. Gay people just love other men or other women. That's simple. But yeah, those that witnessed the abuse and didn't do anything, I wish I could bang my fist into the head sometimes. It's like when Tarantino said, I should have done something more sooner, I should have done something more to protect people. No shit, Sherlock. Really? You say that now? And Ben Affleck, oh my god, that guy makes my skin crawl. And what's come out about him lately just makes my skin crawl even more. Oh no. No. He actually said that he didn't know anything about it, but he was in a relationship with Gwyneth Paltrow after the incident, And she told him about it. And then Rose McGowan told him what happened with her. He said, fuck's sake, I told him not to do that again. And then he turns around on Twitter and says, I didn't know anything about this. And then Rose McGowan turned around and said, what? You fucking mental... Oh. Oh. That guy really gets my... Oh. Sorry. It pisses me off. Confrontation. Like I say, there have been confrontations with both in the past. I am more specifically using Weinstein and Spacey in this. There have been confrontations with them in the past. There have been things that have happened within the company in the past where there have been lawsuits. There have been conflicts with personnel and several other things. But the fact that these people have got away with this for so long makes my blood boil, if you haven't already guessed. People confronted them about it and they said, oh, I won't do it again, I won't do it again. 3 days later they did it again. It's like, what the fuck? Can you not keep things in your pants for just a fucking 2 days? Now, a fair trial is the next point I have. A lot of the things that are going on at the minute are potentially going to affect the ability of people to get a fair trial, particularly the two men we're talking about, which is Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein. Now, and I think the FBI are involved now. Should be fun. There's several reasons for this. The extent of the victims, the extent of their fame and power, and the extent of the amount of people that are saying it. Now, the two that are more likely to face trial are Weinstein and Spacey. I think there are a lot of questions being asked here in the UK, as well as in America, about statutes of limitations, do we have the proof, etc. And with a bit of luck, they will face some courtroom, whether it's on either side of the Atlantic. We shall have to wait and see. But it'll definitely be a fun trial, because like I say, a lot of people will automatically say, oh, I didn't do it because it's Kevin Spacey. It's like, yeah, but just because it's Kevin Spacey doesn't mean that he can't abuse people, that he can't rape people just for the sheer fact of raping people. The fame, their influence, and the number of victims and the details that are out there now are problematic in regards to a fair trial. But I also understand that there's strength in numbers with a lot of these incidents. I just hope that if any of these cases come to trial, they'll do the human thing and actually say, yeah, I did it. Whether that happens, I don't know. Probably not with Harvey, because apparently he likes to sue people. He can sue me, he's not going to get out. Is there evidence? We're not sure. Like I said, the FBI are involved now. There is the London Met and I think the NYPD want to speak to both with regards to incidents that have happened in London and in New York. And whether or not that ever happens, we don't know, because both have essentially gone into hiding. Kevin Spacey's career is pretty much over. His House of Cards is gone. The film he was in that's being released next month, he's been edited out of, and they've got somebody in to replace him. And lots of the other up-and-coming projects that were on the slate have been wiped off. They've been cancelled, they've been deleted, they're not in existence anymore. Because it would hurt the production company's brand to actually create, involve him in projects. Hence why House of Cards has gone and several other factors. And Miramax, I think they've severed ties with Harvey Weinstein. The Weinstein Company has kicked him out, as have the Oscars. Whether the same happens with Kevin Spacey, I don't know, or if it already has, I've missed it. But we shall wait and see. But both are going to suffer effects from this, and their hero status and their people worshipping them like they used to isn't going to happen anymore because of the plain simple fact they've shot themselves in the leg. And they've essentially both ended their careers, and I'm actually happy. We've had it's come out that several politicians in this country that have been involved in untoward activities, so they've essentially been sacked. And there's investigations ongoing, because like I say, there is no statute of limitations in this country. There are a lot of other people in positions of power that are being investigated in this country as well. And then also in America you've got Bill Riley and a few others and several politicians where things are coming out about them, so it's like there's a lot going on that needs to be investigated across the board on both sides of the Atlantic. Like I say, even in the UK we're not immune to this shit. We've had this shit for years. Jimmy Savile was raping people for years. And what I'll do is, actually with regards to the Jimmy Savile case, I'll leave a documentary up above about that. And with regards to this case, the Weinstein and Spacey case, best thing for you to do is just put in the Weinstein harassment or Spacey harassment in YouTube, and you will find a sea of videos on both cases. Right, I'm going to do the video that's connected to this next, which should be fun. And then the other video, which is the unplanned video, which is the update on a few health things, I'm going to do that straight after that. So this video will probably get demonetized, but with that being said, stay safe, be good, have fun, and I will see you very soon.